What's up, guys, and welcome to another NFL predictions video, which has basically become the staple of my channel now. Let me just go get the stats for the previous one. Yeah, we got 90 views and 12 likes on that last one. So, thanks for all the support. And I imagine you just want me to get into the predictions, so yeah, I'll do that. So, first up, you have the battle of facial hair. Ah, yes. This is going to be an epic matchup. As a Dolphins fan, but also like a very big Gardner Minshew fan, I'm just gonna enjoy this game no matter what happens. This is just my favorite type of game, where even if it's my favorite team, I don't care what happens at all. But what I think is gonna happen, I think this is gonna be a Jaguars win. The Jags offense, it sort of surprised me. I mean, we knew Gardner Minshew, aside from being just a meme god, is actually a pretty good player. And hold up, let me just do something real quick. I gotta Google something because I need to say something. James Robinson. I did not know that name until last week when he had 102 yards and 1 touchdown. I legit had to Google the stats of the Jaguars game because I forgot this nerd's name. But he had a huge game, and it'll be interesting to see what he can do against the Dolphins. We showed some improvement, almost beating the Bills, but I don't know if we can beat this Jags offense, which is actually good. And I'm sort of stuttering a lot on this, so let's move on to the next game, which is the Raiders and the Patriots. Even though they're 2-0 and they beat the New Orleans Saints, I'm still not really going to buy the Raiders much, unless they can win this game here. But, I mean, they beat the Saints, but the Patriots, they almost beat the Seahawks. It might have been because of all the injuries in the secondary, but the secondary isn't even the best part of the Seahawks. Jamal Adams was healthy, so it was basically both teams at full strength, and I'm going to have the Patriots taking this dub here. Cam Newton, he's back. He's not playing like the MVP he once was, but the Patriots don't need him to, really. They basically just need him to be a running back, which is, I mean, he's probably going to finish the season with more rush attempts than pass attempts. That's an exaggeration. That is not going to happen. Julian Edelman, there was that one drive where he was like a huge factor, and against Raiders defense, wait, they have a defense? No, they really don't. So I think Julian Edelman is going to get at least 100 receiving yards here and lead the Patriots to a victory. Then we got the Houston Texans and the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Steelers, they're Super Bowl contenders for me. They've got a good chance to win the whole thing. And the Texans, it's just been ugly for them. I'll cut them some slack because they have had to play the Chiefs and the Ravens back to back. But I think they might have some chemistry issues going on because Ross Blacklock, the rookie defensive lineman, he got himself ejected for really just, it was kind of stupid. He didn't need to do that. But J.J. Watt, he got super mad at him. He was saying, like, that was selfish, that was stupid. So that's got me worried about the chemistry of the Texans. And so we might see some trades here in a minute to attempt to fix that. And because of that potential problem and just the talent of the Steelers with Ben Roethlisberger back, you're going to have to give me Pittsburgh here. And we got the Jets and the Colts. I mean, isn't this obvious here? The Colts should be more worried about the MetLife Stadium turf than this New York Jets team. And I'm not going to say anything else about the turf because I think this whole thing is kind of ridiculous. I'm going to not talk about that at all. And we're just going to move on to potentially the game of the week. No, not potentially. I think this is the game of the week here. The Chiefs and the Ravens. The Chiefs, they almost lost to the Chargers. They let Justin Herbert have that huge debut, and I mean that could be motivation for them to just come back and have a huge game. But this isn't like me pushing the panic button or anything. But I got the Ravens here. I think this would be the first time that Lamar Jackson beats Patrick Mahomes. I think he's 0-2 against him so far. But I got the Ravens beating this one. Lamar, I mean, he's had good games. He's had like 200 passing yards and a touchdown in each. But that's mediocre by his standards. I think he's just gonna explode here, get like 4 to 5 total touchdowns and at least 350 yards. So look for Lamar to get back in this early MVP conversation. And we got a perfect transition here into my early MVP favorite, which is Josh Allen. He is leading the league in passing yards right now with like, I don't know, I think it's like 900 something. I don't know about that. I'm trying to think of the exact number, but I can't think of it. He's had like 6 touchdowns with 0 interceptions so far. And, I mean, that's not early MVP favorite. Then what is? But the Rams, they've been kind of a surprising team. I thought that they were going to only win like 7 games because they're screwed by the division that they're in. But they've won both of their games so far. And the offense, it's sort of looking like the one that went to the Super Bowl again. It's probably because the offensive line is much improved, and they have extended both of their good receivers, Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods. But what about Tyler Higbee? He's building on the good finish to the 2019 season. Him and Jared Goff have hooked up for some good plays so far, but enough complimenting the Rams because I think that they're going to lose this game. Josh Allen will continue his early hot streak. Look for Stephon Diggs to do something big. I haven't seen what he's done yet, which I'm assuming means he's been fairly quiet. Not in this game. I think he's going to get like 100 receiving yards and at least 1 touchdown. And that's a little ambitious because the Rams have Jalen Ramsey and their defense is still amazing. But hey, it doesn't matter because this might not happen at all. Then we got the football team and the Cleveland Browns. This is an interesting one. Football team, they had that comeback against the Eagles in week 1. But the Browns, I mean, Odell Beckham Jr., we're actually starting to get to see some Baker to Odell, which I don't think we didn't really see much of last season at all. And Baker Mayfield, he's not done yet. I mean, he had a down year last year. And then, of course, there's all the talk that he's a bust. I didn't really believe that then because he broke all sorts of rookie records, number 1 overall pick, and he's the number 1 overall pick for a reason. And then he had a bounce-back game last week, so he's definitely not done yet. And I think that the Browns are going to win this game here. Football team goes to 1-2. I mean, this isn't going to be like a blowout. This is actually going to be a close game, so maybe like 23-20 or something. Because the Washington pass rush is for real. Especially because of Chase Young. And, yeah, he's really just taking that pass rush to a whole new level. And it's crazy to think that one player can do that, but one player can do that. And then the Bengals and the Eagles. Ooh, I mean, is it time to start worrying about Philadelphia? They're 0-2. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with their tight end situation going forward because Zach Ertz hasn't had the best start to the season. And by the end, we could see Dallas Goedert being the number 1 tight end. But I'm not too sure about that. And then the Bengals, Joe Burrow, 61 pass attempts. I think he only completed like 21 of them or something. But hey, he's a rookie. Give the dude some time. And they almost beat the Browns. And this might not happen, but I'm going to get Joe Burrow taking his first dub in the NFL here. He's going to have another 300-yard game. And even against this Eagles defense, this is a rookie like we've never seen before. He just knows what he's doing. He plays like he's been in the NFL for 10 seasons. He never really forces anything, which is what rookie QBs tend to do. He actually knows like when to throw the ball away and stuff instead of just forcing it into a tough spot where it would be picked off. Yeah, this kid's really special, and he's going to show us that against a good team that's now 0-3. Anyway, we got the Tennessee Titans and the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings are another team that we should potentially be worried about. Kirk Cousins, he is not playing too well at all, really. He had like 2 interceptions or 3 without a touchdown last week, I think, and they lost to Indy. And meanwhile, the Titans, they're really good. They're a very good team, especially with David Clowney. I don't know how he's doing. I haven't been checking like all the box scores, which I imagine is something I should be doing. So these predictions videos are more in depth next week, I promise. But I got the Titans winning here. The defense of the Minnesota Vikings is in complete ruins. I mean, I like the move for Yannick Ngakoue, but that might also be signaling a rebuild. I mean, think about it. A bunch of the key pieces from like that NFC Championship defense, a bunch of them are gone, even though Xavier Rhodes is burnt toast now. It still hurts. A lot of these guys were fan favorites, and now they're gone. And Derrick Henry, he's been amazing so far. He's not a one-hit wonder. Ryan Tannehill is still playing well, and he sort of has to after that massive extension. And look for the Titans to get this dub. The Chargers and the Panthers, man, the Panthers, they're really, really, really in trouble. Christian McCaffrey is out for at least a month, which is very bad because he's their best player by far. And I think at this point the Panthers have accepted that it might be almost time to tank for a top pick. Not necessarily Trevor Lawrence, because Teddy Bridgewater's been playing fine. Maybe they start the XFL MVP, PJ Walker, in this game. I don't know what they're going to do, but I think whatever they do, they're going to lose to the Chargers. I think Justin Herbert might have another good game. I'm 99% sure he's going to play because Tyrod Taylor was literally having chest pains and he had to go to the hospital. Anthony Lynn said that when Taylor's healthy, he's going to be the starter, but I'm getting some major he ain't coming back this week vibes from this. And we got the Bucks and the Broncos. The Broncos are another team that really got hit hard by injuries. They lost Von Miller before the season even started, and now Drew Lock is going to miss some time. I think Cortland Sutton is also out for the season. So they've lost 2 Pro Bowlers already, and maybe a guy that could have made the Pro Bowl this year, and Drew Lock. That's kind of ambitious. I didn't like that I just said that. But anyway, I got the Bucks winning this game here. The Broncos, they're really not that dangerous anymore. I thought that they could potentially be a playoff team, but all these injuries, I'm not really sure I like them anymore. One thing I'd like to see from the Buccaneers is to try and get Rob Gronkowski involved. I think he's only had 1 catch in 2 games. Maybe they're just trying to ease him back into things, but I think a better way to be doing that is to be, getting him involved in the offense. So, in a game where there's a very high chance that they win, I would expect Bruce Arians to experiment with the Big Fella a little bit. Then we got the Bears and the Falcons. Man, the Atlanta Falcons have done it again. They blew another massive lead. At this point, it's almost what you'd expect. But I think that they're going to win this game here. Matt Ryan might have another 400-yard passing game. He's done it once already, so why not again? And we're not 100% sure if Julio Jones is going to play. If he doesn't play, though, then that's where Calvin Ridley comes in. He's been one of the best fantasy football wide receivers so far. I don't remember his exact stats off the top of my head. He's had like 100 receiving yards, I think, in both the games. I don't know. I really don't know. But if Julio Jones doesn't play, expect for this kid to have a huge game. And if Julio does play, expect for them maybe both to get 100 receiving yards. Now that's ambitious. But let's just move on to the next game. The Niners and the Giants. Man, the Niners were hit so hard. They might not even make the playoffs because of all these injuries. Nick Bosa's done for the season. They're losing Jimmy Garoppolo for a while. But I still think they can beat the Giants. If the Giants did not lose Saquon for the season, I might reconsider this. But the Niners, they're still a pretty good team. I mean, they still got Richard Sherman, George Kittle, maybe. And that's really enough to beat the Giants. They're very bad. They do have Devontae Freeman, though. Look for him to struggle behind that offensive line. Anyway, we got the Lions and the Cardinals, who might be the biggest surprise in the NFL so far. They're 2-0. They beat the fully healthy 49ers, and they blew out the football team. And I know I was saying earlier that Josh Allen could be an early MVP favorite, but if not him, then maybe Kyler Murray, because the trend lately has been for rookie QBs to take a huge step forward in their second year. I mean, the last two MVPs have done it, Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. So maybe this little guy's next. Is it because of DeAndre Hopkins? Maybe, but he's had like 500 passing yards so far, and he had like a 300-yard game with a couple of touchdowns last week. And the Lions, they really can't do anything about that. You probably know why. The Lions, it's not looking pretty for them there. I need to see Matt Patricia fired. He's like the worst head coach in the NFL. And then we got the Cowboys and the Seahawks. The Cowboys, they're going to be really fired up from this comeback. I mean, you saw their reactions. Everson Griffin. That's like my favorite moment of the season so far, Everson Griffin's reaction to the big comeback. And this Dallas Cowboys offense, if it gets on fire, which it absolutely did, they're almost impossible to stop with any defense, even that of the Seahawks. So they're going to get this win. They got the best wide receiver core in the NFL, especially with CeeDee Lamb. I mean, they potentially had the best without him. So now that they do have him, who I think is like, you know what? I'll put him below Jerry Jeudy for the best wide receiver in the draft. But he's like the second best wide receiver in the draft. And the fact that the Dallas Cowboys got him really, really scares me. So I got them getting that dub. And then finally, we got the Packers and the Saints. So the Saints, they're kind of an interesting team. And I don't really mean that in a good way at all. Because did they lose to the Raiders? Because it's actually something we need to be worrying about with this team? Or is it just because they didn't have Michael Thomas? And unfortunately for the Saints, I think it's that first reason. Because, I mean, the Raiders, they don't have much of a defense at all. So it's kind of ugly that that the Saints lost to that team, because they still had Emmanuel Sanders, who only caught one pass. So I'm gonna have to take the Packers here. That offense is looking really good this season. Week 1, you had Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams, and then I don't know the exact real stats for Aaron Jones, but I believe he had like 45 fantasy points. If you play fantasy football, you know that's pretty good. So here's the standings. I believe it's staying somewhat the same in the AFC from the Week 2 predictions. And then in the NFC, we got the Bucks in here now, the Cowboys. I don't know if the Rams or the Bears were in here before. Saints fell out, so they're dropping a little bit in like the power rankings. So yeah, you can pause the video, look at the standings if you want to. But that's all you're gonna hear from me. Peace.